The sky burned red over the ruins of New York, the once glorious skyline now a jagged silhouette against flames that devoured every trace of civilization. Smoke rose in thick columns, curling like black serpents into the clouds above. Humanity had never faced such a force before. The Kharid, an alien species of terrifying intellect and ruthless cruelty, had arrived without warning, their fleet blotting out the sun, their weapons reducing cities to cinders. Kale Darrow moved silently through the rubble, the soles of his boots crunching broken glass and twisted metal. His heart pounded in a rhythm that was both rage and grief. He had witnessed the Kharid's merciless efficiency firsthand, but nothing could have prepared him for the moment he stumbled upon the remains of his family's hideout. Charred bodies lay strewn across the floor, melted into shapes that no longer resembled the people he loved. Kale's fists clenched, his knuckles whitening. He had been trained for combat, yes, but nothing in the academy had prepared him for this personal devastation. The Kharid ships hovered in the sky above, massive and gleaming, their surfaces reflecting the ruin below as if mocking the fallen. Each Kharid warrior that patrolled the streets moved with surgical precision, their advanced weapons leaving no margin for error. Grief surged into fury, transforming his sorrow into a relentless determination. Kale vowed that the Kharid would pay, and humanity would rise from these ashes, not as mere survivors, but as hunters. Yet the road ahead was treacherous. Resources were scarce, communication networks shattered, and trust had become a luxury in short supply. Every human he met carried the same haunted look, a mixture of fear and despair, and many whispered that resistance was pointless. Despite the odds, Kale found hope in scattered survivors. Among them were Liara, a former scientist whose family had perished in the early raids, and Jonas, a former soldier who had survived Kharid interrogations through sheer cunning. They moved as shadows, scavenging supplies and gathering intelligence. Kale learned quickly that unity would be humanity's greatest weapon, yet it was fragile. Mistrust and exhaustion gnawed at every bond, and one misstep could mean annihilation. One evening, as Kale explored the perimeter of the ruins, he stumbled upon an abandoned Kharid outpost. Broken technology littered the interior. Alien tools, holographic maps, and a device that pulsed faintly with energy. Kale recognized the importance immediately. This was proof that the Kharid were not infallible. Somewhere in their systems lay weaknesses, cracks in an empire that had seemed unassailable. That night, Kale gathered his small band of survivors. They pored over the alien technology by the dim glow of a makeshift fire. Each revelation fueled their resolve. For the first time, fear gave way to possibility. Humanity, though battered and broken, could strike back. And Kale, whose heart burned with personal vengeance, knew he had found the first spark in a rebellion that could engulf the galaxy. The journey to the Kharid Central Colony was a march through death itself. Planets scarred by alien occupation passed beneath the hull of Kale's commandeered ship, each world a graveyard of human ambition and loss. The survivors moved in silence, haunted by the ghosts of their families and friends, each step forward a defiance of despair. Kale surveyed his team carefully. Mira checked supplies, her hands steady despite the tension in her jaw. Jonas scanned the perimeter, muscles coiled and eyes sharp. Liara moved with purpose, analyzing Kharid patrol patterns and updating Kale on potential threats. Each of them carried the weight of survival, yet none could escape the shadow of mistrust. Kale knew it all too well. Loyalty was fragile when death lingered at every turn. The first sign of betrayal appeared as subtle inconsistencies in communication, messages that were delayed, equipment reports that didn't match reality, movements that seemed rehearsed. Cale's instincts screamed caution. One night, while monitoring the ship's sensors, he caught a faint transmission, coded, alien, unmistakable. One of our own had reached out to the Kharid. Rage flared, but Cale restrained it, knowing that confronting the traitor prematurely could destroy the fragile cohesion of their team. They navigated asteroid fields, dodged patrol fleets, and avoided planetary sensors, traveling light years in near silence. The terrain of the colony's home planet was hostile, jagged mountains and toxic skies designed by the Kharid to deter intruders. Even as exhaustion gnawed at them, Cale pressed forward. Survival depended not just on strategy, but on unwavering resolve. In the depths of a long-abandoned mining complex beneath the planet's surface, Liara uncovered a cache of ancient human technology, prototype energy weapons, defensive drones, and schematic files for a planetary disruptor. The discovery was a spark of hope, proof that humanity had once touched greatness and could rise again. Cale realized that these tools could be the turning point, a way to level the playing field against the technologically superior Kharid. Yet hope was tempered by peril. The traitor was revealed during a reconnaissance mission. Tiber, a soldier whose loyalty had seemed unquestionable, had been feeding intel to the Kharid. Cale's heart broke at the betrayal, but his resolve hardened. Tiber was removed from the mission, left behind on a barren moon with supplies that would sustain him, but nothing more. Cale understood that mercy was a luxury humans could no longer afford when every move was a gamble for survival. Approaching the outskirts of the central colony, the team encountered their first real resistance. Kharid sentries patrolled the high cliffs, and energy barriers hummed with alien technology. Every movement had to be precise. Cale coordinated the infiltration like a conductor orchestrating a symphony of chaos. Drones scouted, Liara hacked alien sensors, and Mira tended to the injured. Each action carried the weight of life and death. The central colony loomed like a fortress carved from steel and energy. Its walls pulsed with alien light, and the ground trembled under the weight of patrolling war machines. Cale's team moved in shadows, their every movement measured, calculated, and fraught with danger. Even the air felt hostile, thick with alien chemicals designed to suppress human vitality. Their initial strikes were precise. Small command posts fell, sentries eliminated, and communications disrupted. Each victory, though minor, sent ripples of chaos through the Kharid hierarchy. Cale watched the patterns, adjusting his team's path with surgical precision. The colony's defenses were formidable, but not impregnable. The deeper they penetrated, the more Cale realized that the Kharid relied as much on fear as technology. Panic could fracture their organization faster than any weapon. It was in the central sublevels that Cale stumbled upon the unthinkable. Within the heart of the command complex was a chamber sealed with alien alloys, its interior pulsing with faint human signatures. Cale's chest tightened. A human captive, one who had been presumed lost during the initial invasion, was alive. Not just alive, but a critical part of the Kharid's control network. The alien overlords had weaponized this person, binding their biosignals to the colony's mainframe. The stakes had become personal in ways Cale had not anticipated. The choice before him was torturous. Attempting to free the captive could expose the team to overwhelming retaliation, yet leaving them meant perpetuating the Kharid's control. Cale's mind raced, weighing every option against the human cost. Time was short. Reinforcements would arrive in hours, perhaps minutes. Hesitation was a luxury humanity could not afford. In the chaos of battle, Cale's team engaged with relentless alien forces. War machines thundered down corridors, energy blasts seared walls, and each decision demanded split-second precision. Mira's steady hand saved lives, tending to the wounded even as she returned fire. Jonas's experience guided them through traps, and Liara's hacking efforts kept critical systems disrupted. Yet for all their skill, the Kharid responded with a terrifying adaptability, shifting their strategies in real time. Kale acted decisively. He ordered a simultaneous strike on both the alien control core and the captive chamber, relying on human ingenuity to outmaneuver superior technology. Explosions echoed through the corridors, alarms blared, and the very structure seemed alive with alien intent. For a moment, the team's unity held, but the weight of the Kharid's wrath pressed in from all sides. Kale understood that subtlety would no longer suffice. The Kharid's forces had adapted to every tactic, anticipating human movements with terrifying efficiency. In the dim glow of the control chambers, he formulated a plan as audacious as it was dangerous. A controlled breach, using themselves as bait to reach the colony's core nexus. Lives would be risked, but there was no alternative. Humanity demanded boldness. The team advanced, splitting into smaller units to distract and disable key alien defenses. Explosions rocked the corridors, alarms blared, and the alien war machines swarmed like predators sensing weakness. Mira tended to the wounded while returning fire with calculated precision. Liara's hacking grid disrupted the Kharid defense grid intermittently, creating windows of opportunity. Jonas led the most exposed units, his every movement a dance between survival and mission success. The breach was made. Kale's heart pounded as he approached the nexus, a pulsating orb of energy that seemed almost alive. The ancient human technology interfaced with it, its schematics aligning in a way that even the Kharid could not anticipate. Sparks flew, circuits overloaded, and the very air hummed with power. This was humanity striking back with ingenuity rather than brute force. Yet the Kharid were relentless. Reinforcements arrived, faster and more lethal than anticipated. War machines slammed through walls, alien warriors flooded corridors, and the team was forced into desperate improvisation. Kale's mind raced, calculating risks, sacrifices, and outcomes. Each decision carried immediate consequences. Every death lost fueled his resolve, yet each death gnawed at the edge of his sanity. As Kale initiated the overload, energy surged unpredictably. The chamber shook violently, systems failing in a cascade of sparks and fire. Communication lines with the rest of the team fractured, leaving Kale isolated in the eye of a storm. Outside, explosions lit the alien corridors, screams and alarms blending into a chaotic symphony of war. He knew the success of the operation now depended solely on timing, courage, and a thin thread of luck. Flames licked the shattered corridors as the overload surged through the Kharid systems. Energy lines sparked and twisted. The sound of metal groaning filled the air, and alien war machines collapsed into heaps of molten steel. Kale watched, every fiber of his being taut, as the once invincible empire faltered. Yet victory was not without its price. Allies lay wounded, some beyond aid, and the silence between the explosions carried the weight of loss. The Kharid warlord emerged from the shadows, a figure of terrifying authority and malice. Towering above Kale, armored in alien alloys that shimmered with a metallic sheen, the warlord wielded energy blades capable of slicing through the strongest defenses. Kale's heart pounded, not with fear, but with the fire of vengeance. Every death, every destroyed city, every suffering human had led to this moment. The warlord would pay. Using the ancient technology, Kale created a diversion, channeling the remaining energy to destabilize the warlord's armor and disrupt the colony's command matrix. Sparks flew as energy arcs danced dangerously close. Kale maneuvered with precision, anticipating the warlord's attacks and exploiting the smallest openings with human ingenuity. Each strike was a testament to the resilience and adaptability of humanity, a species underestimated by invaders who assumed technology alone ensured victory. The battle was brutal, exhausting, and relentless. Kale's vision blurred with sweat, blood, and exhaustion, yet his resolve never wavered. Allies continued to provide cover, some sacrificing themselves to ensure Kale had the chance to reach the core systems. Every life lost fueled a singular determination. The Kharid Empire would fall, or humanity would fall trying. Finally, with a surge of energy and a precise strike, Kale brought down the warlord. The alien figure crumpled, armor cracking, energy blades sputtering and dying. A scream echoed through the chambers, both mechanical and organic, signaling the collapse of Kharid Command. Humanity had struck back, a single human shattering an empire that had thought them insignificant. Yet as Kale looked to the horizon, remnants of the alien fleet retreated into space, their survival a looming threat. Victory had been achieved, but the war was far from over. Humanity had proven itself, but the galaxy was vast, and enemies still lingered beyond the stars. The ruins of the central colony glowed faintly under the twin suns, a testament to destruction and renewal alike. Kale and the surviving humans moved among the debris, salvaging what could be used, repairing structures, and tending to the wounded. The victory had come at a terrible cost. Friends were gone, cities lay in ashes, and memories of loved ones haunted every step. Yet amidst the devastation, there was hope. The Kharid had been shattered, their central command destroyed, and their fleet scattered. Humanity had struck back against an empire that had seemed invincible. Kale walked through the remnants of the colony, reflecting on the journey. Every loss, every betrayal, every act of courage had led to this moment. Humans were resilient, clever, and unstoppable when united. The survivors began to organize, establishing communication networks between distant colonies, sharing knowledge and rebuilding defenses. Liara oversaw the integration of recovered alien technology, repurposing it to strengthen human infrastructure. Mira trained new medics and engineers, ensuring that life could continue despite the lingering scars. Jonas led expeditions to recover lost supplies and fortify vulnerable positions. Kale stood atop a ridge overlooking the colony. The horizon was quiet now, but he knew the galaxy was vast, and the remnants of the Kharid still lurked in shadowed corners. Humanity had won a decisive battle, but the war was far from over. Yet even in the face of uncertainty, Kale felt a sense of pride. Humans had endured, adapted, and overcome. Against impossible odds, they had proven their worth. In the quiet moments, Kale reflected on those who had sacrificed everything. Their memories would never fade, their courage an eternal flame guiding the survivors forward. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's rise from the ashes, a species forged in fire, grief, and unyielding determination.